Hello guys, this is Modest Major here, bringing you some commentary over some 24-1 Infinity Slayer gameplay on Solace. I personally enjoy Solace a lot more since the weapon tuning update has gone into effect. I think it's just a lot more fast-paced. I mean, with the two snipers spawning opposite side to begin with, pre-weapon tuning update, it kind of... There was no counter to these sniper rifles, and it allowed players to play a lot more defensively. As a result, you saw players hiding up in the towers, and once they'd taken out the enemy sniper, they were kind of free to just, sit on top of the tower and try and spawn kill enemy players. There wasn't really much incentive for them to go out of the tower. Whereas the fuel rod cannon has just offered a viable alternative to being able to flush out players from their spawn. If there's a player in the back of their spawn just camping it up with a sniper rifle, you can just rush in with fuel rod cannon and try and take out as many opponents as quick as possible, and it's just very good for flushing out, especially with the large clip size of the fuel rod cannon. I personally think the fuel rod cannon is a lot more enjoyable and rewarding weapon than the rocket launcher. The rocket launcher is kind of more of a spray and pay weapon because of the high splash damage involved. You can afford to be a lot less accurate with it. Whereas the fuel rod cannon, you kind of have to direct impact opponents to be able to kill them. Then you've got to account for the fact that the weapon travel time, the bullet travel time is quite slow, so you can lead your opponents, try and predict where they're going to end up. And I just think it's a lot more enjoyable, a bigger skill curve, and that's what I try and look for in this game. Also the sword itself wasn't a very effective counter to the sniper, if you wanted to make that counter argument previously, because, I don't know, it just has a lesser range than in other Halo games. It's harder to lunge, and when you do lunge, players can have a sticky grenade under their belt, and it's quite, sticky grenades are a very viable counter to the energy sword, and I find it almost a risk to rush one-on-one situations when using the energy sword, because, you don't know if they have a sticky grenade under their belt. It's always a risk, and you kind of have to find more, you have to find flanking routes when using the sword, which is a little bit frustrating. I think it's better since the 10% movement increase, though, because you're able to weave in and out of opponents, get out of situations more readily. In Solace, you feel like a bit of a deer in the headlights, and you definitely don't want to be that when you're using a sword, because, especially as the sword is glowing, it's very easy to spot across map, and that can be pretty frustrating. But I think it's just all round more improved since the weapon tuning update, which is good to see, because I personally didn't enjoy Solace that much. It's not a map that I would vote for very frequently. Today, I wanted to talk about, though, in particular, is the Xbox One, PS4 debate. I'm not going to go into some in-depth analysis and, try and pick apart what everyone else has said and give you all the facts, because quite frankly, I think there's enough of that on YouTube. But I think it's just interesting to see, where my channel is going to be heading, hopefully, and, whether I'm going to be sticking by Halo 5, am I going to be buying an Xbox One, or am I going to be like the other people on the internet who absolutely despise Microsoft now and will not stay loyal to that console? And I think it's an interesting choice because, I don't like what Microsoft have done with this whole always online thing. That's not very much of a unique opinion, but... always online doesn't affect me. I am always online, and quite frankly, when my internet does go out, I don't want to play Xbox anyway. I'm more of an online gamer. I don't really enjoy single-player experiences. When I do play single-player experiences, I like to talk to friends in parties still, and I'm not necessarily sure I would use my Xbox if I wasn't online. So the issue itself doesn't affect me, but I just don't like the idea of it. I don't like the idea that they're just shutting off a minority from playing their console. They're saying, well, it doesn't matter that you were loyal to our console beforehand because you're being, excluded now. And who knows when you yourself will be in a minority? Who knows when you will be cast out and they'll decide that, this certain type of person isn't allowed to play our console anymore. This certain type of person. And it's not a very enjoyable, it's not something you want. It feels like they're less reliable for you now. And also, you don't retain ownership of the games technically, If they get to choose when the servers go on and off and you can only play them when it's online, it's technically not even your product anymore, really. They retain the ownership rights to it, and that's just a little bit daunting. It's not something I really like, to be honest. It's not really something I respect. I like having ownership of my games. I like having physical copies and knowing they are in my ownership at all times. But the other debate I want to make is, the other topic I want to bring forward is that I still don't think PS4 really brought much to the table themselves. I mean, PS4, when you look at the conference and what they did, it kind of just revolved around the idea of insulting Microsoft for everything they were doing, and it was clever. You know, they were punching below the belt. They showed a lot of consumer understanding. They understood where we were coming from and why we were frustrated, and exploited that weakness in Microsoft's design. But at the same time, PS4, in terms of multiplayer exclusives and what I'm going to be able to play regularly, you know, Destiny is dual platform. Killzone is not a game I've been particularly interested in the past. And Xbox itself has Titanfall. And to be honest, I find myself still leaning towards Xbox One. And I know that might be a little bit, I don't know, depressing to some people. But I'm probably going to end up buying both. So who cares? But there we go. Just wanted to tell you guys what I was thinking. And I hope you guys enjoyed the commentary. Peace out.